It's 1963. The Friday night dance is just hours away, and a local teenager is standing in front of her mirror, determined to tease her hair to the perfect height. According to the rumor mill, she wraps her locks around a solid core of bread dough to get the shape, coats the entire structure in a thick, wet shell of aerosol hairspray, and refuses to wash it for weeks to preserve her work. Days pass, the stiffness holds, but soon she starts experiencing a strange, localized pressure. Sharp, maddening headaches pulse right at her scalp, which she writes off as the simple price of beauty. She pushes through the pain until she abruptly collapses in the middle of class. She is rushed to the emergency room, where doctors find her hair so heavily cemented that they have to bring in a medical cast saw just to crack the lacquer shell. When the helmet splits open, they don't find bread dough. They find a massive nest of black widow spiders crawling out from the hollow center, having spent the last 2 weeks gnawing through her scalp. This story is entirely fictional, yet it spread across the country with astonishing speed, because it turned the physical reality of a dominant fashion era into a source of dread. Look at a bustling salon from the early 60s, and you will see a strict assembly line dedicated to a single aesthetic goal: verticality. The beehive is an inescapable cultural force. Pop stars like Ronnie Spector set the standard. They wore towering, heavily teased crowns that defied gravity, creating a dramatic silhouette that millions of women sought to replicate. Achieving that look required intense structural engineering. Stylists backcombed the hair into a dense mesh, pinned it up, and flooded it with early aerosol sprays to freeze the strands into a rigid, impenetrable shell. Maintenance was demanding. Women wrapped their heads in tissue to avoid crushing the shape while they were sleeping at night. The style's visible rejection of daily hygiene made the idea of a hidden infestation feel dangerously plausible. The myth found its power in the physical reality of the beehive, a structure so intensely artificial it made these grotesque consequences feel like an inevitable trade-off for extreme vanity. To understand why a story about a spider and a hairdo goes viral before the internet, we have to look at the folklorist perspective. This legend bypasses rational thought by hitting 2 deeply ingrained psychological triggers. First is a hardwired biological terror of venomous insects. Humans naturally fear unseen threats hiding in dark crevices. This reaches all the way back to our primate ancestors. Grooming, picking through hair to root out parasites, is a foundational survival mechanism. When we see a tangled mass of hair, our brains instinctively register a biological hazard. The second trigger is cultural, the desire to police and punish perceived excess. The woman in the story prioritizes a prideful appearance over basic personal hygiene. Like many classic fairy tales, the urban legend acts as a strict moral enforcer. It takes a social transgression, excessive pride, and assigns it a grotesque, highly disproportionate physical penalty. The beehive demanded women stop washing and brushing their hair. Because it visibly defied those ancient grooming instincts, it became an easy target for cultural anxiety. In this context, the spiders serve as a biological stand-in for the cultural backlash against extreme female vanity. By the end of the 1960s, the authentic beehive had largely faded from daily life. It survived mostly as a nostalgic, exaggerated pop culture trope, worn by bands like the B-52s. Later, modern icons like Amy Winehouse revived the towering style not as a standard beauty trend, but as a deliberate retro homage to that era. But while the hairspray-soaked helmets disappeared from shopping malls, the underlying urban legend was too psychologically powerful to disappear. The myth shifted. In the late 1960s and 70s, the story found a new target: male hippies. The narrative adapted, replacing the aerosol shell with unwashed shoulder-length hair, claiming the spiders had nested there instead. Move into the 1980s and 90s, and the rumor morphs once again. This time, the narrative shifted to target dreadlocks and tightly woven hair extensions. The pattern is consistent. The legend detaches from the past and reattaches itself to whatever hairstyle the dominant mainstream culture currently views with suspicion or misunderstands. Fashion trends will shift, but as long as we view certain styles as unnatural, we will keep inventing monsters to hide within them.